Hey guys, welcome to my review of Mission Impossible, the original series, Season 1, Episode 20, entitled Snowball in Hell. Well, guys, in this episode, Dan and the team get entrusted with taking away a chemical called cesium 138 that can be potentially used for creating a nuclear arsenal from a ex-leader of a prison colony in an undisclosed country. The thing that I really like about this episode is it really focuses on Barney as the member of the team who has to go in with Rollin posing as a photographer and a model in an effort to do a puff piece about this ex prison colony that was closed X amount of years ago for the pleasure of their readers. But Barney really gets to do a lot in this episode, being the guy that eventually gets caught by the ex head guard of the prison and then gets put through torture to ascertain why he's really there. The guy that the IMF found to give them intel on the prison basically escaped the prison 1 year before it was closed. And in order for Barney to play the part of the prisoner who escaped from the prison, he's given these scars and he's given information about how the prisoner escaped from the prison by essentially digging a hole through the wall of his prison and creating this tunnel to get out. But the real shocking thing to me, when Barney as a model and Rollin as a photographer asked the head guard to give them a tour of the prison, during that tour, the guard basically rips off Barney's shirt in an effort to take a really cool picture, like he was about to whip him or flog him, is the word that he used. And the pretend scars that Rollins drew on Barney are there, and just the acting from the actor who plays Barney and Ricardo Montalban from Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan fame, the acting done by Barney and Ricardo Montalban in this episode is really, really great, because Ricardo Montalban gives off a really, really angry, typical bad guy performance, but he underplays it with a tone of racism towards this ex-prisoner who escaped the prison 1 year before it was closed. I believe the prisoner's name was Carre, and it's just amazing how Ricardo Montalban plays this fucking asshole dictator of a prison. I just loved his unrestrained anger and his sort of arrogance, as it were, as to what is going on. Also, I loved how Dan Briggs was a more critical part of this episode, because if you have watched my previous reviews, you know that when I started the series way back when, I covered how at one point in season 1, the actor who plays Dan Briggs appears less and less in the series because of his religious beliefs. So it was really, really nice to see an episode where Dan not only got the mission brief, but got an opportunity to participate in the mission and be a critical part of it. And I love how Dan and Willie go into this mine, and they find the tunnel that the prisoner Carre made to escape the prison, and they use that tunnel to make their way into the prison, to shut down a generator so the air conditioning doesn't work. And the reason why they did that is because after the cesium gets at a certain level, it explodes. So it has to remain cool. Their whole play to get the cesium out of the hands of the character played by Ricardo Montalban is really good. The way that they sort of dispatched the character played by Ricardo Montalban is really, really cool. They made like this robot refrigeration unit. And after they were able to get the cesium out of Ricardo Montalban's character's hands, they put it in the refrigeration unit, and this refrigeration unit is like a robot. So Willie went down into the hole, he put the robot in the hole, and then he switched the robot to roll down the tunnel. But the robot refrigeration unit has two settings. It has hot and it has cold. And before Willie turned it on, he put the refrigeration unit to hot. So essentially, when Ricardo Montalban eventually found out the plot of Barney and Rollin trying to steal the cesium, he was told by Barney that in the tunnel that he used to get out of the prison a year earlier, again, Barney's playing the character of Carré, this prisoner who escaped the prison, that his partner was down there with the cesium. So the character that Ricardo Montalban plays goes down there into the tunnels to get supposedly Barney's partner and the cesium, but unaware that this refrigeration unit is set to explode. So when Ricardo Montalban, tries to grab the cesium, we cut to outside with Dan, Willie, Cinnamon, and Rollin seeing the mine basically explode, and Barney coming up behind Dan, surprising him, and then getting away from the scene, having yet another successful mission. Again, the thing that I loved about this episode so much is, number one, it was really cool to see Ricardo Montalban play another role that isn't Khan Union Singh from Star Trek, because I have not seen him play another role besides that. So it was really, really cool to see him play another role. But the thing that I really loved about it, other than that, the thing that I really loved about it was the fact that Dan got to actively participate in this mission rather than just getting the mission brief and then relaying it to his team, and then his team going on the mission without him. So that was really, really cool. And I didn't think late in this season we would get that kind of thing, but I'm really lucky that we did. Also, I thought Barney did a wonderful job playing the prisoner that escaped from the prison 1 year before it was closed. The actor who plays Barney against Ricardo Montalban did such a good job at hating each other, and they did such a good job at despising each other. They didn't overplay it. They played it just right. It was like this simmering heat. It was like this simmering hate right on the surface between the two of them, but it really didn't boil over until it was absolutely necessary for their hate to boil over. That eventually led to the character Ricardo Montalban falling for the IMF's plan, so to speak. All right, guys, so that'll do it for my review of Mission Impossible Season 1, Episode 21, Snowball in Hell. If you have seen this episode, in the comments below, tell me what you liked about it, or tell me what you didn't like about it. But, as always, I'll see you when I see you.
So much happened here, and so much is about to.